welcome again, everybody, to the latest episode of The Wrestling Wire. So, what a weekend it's been for professional wrestling in general, both here on the indie scene as well as abroad. Uh, Looking back at it, you had Friday night, you had Bound for Glory from Impact. Last night, they had the Extreme Rules Premium Live event, and The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, has made his return. Man, if you missed it, it's your own damn fault for not spending the $5 to watch it on Peacock. I'm sorry. That's dumb. You've got to do half the battle for them, man. You gotta pay to play. Y'all know this. Uh let's see. Love your view of the end of Edge Balor match. My view of it? Was that a post on TRWC? I didn't write a review on it yet. I normally do everything here, other than make a couple of jokes or post or what have you. But I will definitely check into that. My view of the end of that match is I like how they changed the dynamic of what it was about. It showed you what was most important to Edge, right? I think I think it went too far. Okay, Douglas. I hear that. So here's the thing: instead of it focusing on Edge and Edge's career and Edge's, life in the business and coming back after a decade or whatever, 9 years, whatever it may be, it made Edge reveal to the world that the most important thing to him, no matter what, is his family, and we in the audience got to absorb that from that moment. I thought it was very well executed. I thought it was very well done. Um, I I don't have a problem with the way it ended. Of course, you want to see Edge win, but if Edge wins, what's next for Judgment Day? They've been doing the Mysterio thing. They've been doing the Edge thing. They've been doing all this stuff. Realistically, they could make it a Survivor Series matchup. This could go all the way into November, and then that could be the blow off. You know, Survivor Series back in the day used to be one of the big four. You had WrestleMania, you had the Royal Rumble. Well, in order, you had the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, you had SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. Those were your big four, and everything else was just kind of a gimme, an add on. In my opinion, I still view those as the big four. SummerSlam in recent years has been mediocre at best. One of the best ones they ever had was where they included NXT in the fold, and that was awesome. Another case in point on that would be look at some of these other pay per views where the names are kind of dropping and changing and not being used all the time. Me personally, I'm a huge fan of the original King of the Ring where it was done tournament style. Yeah, you get less sustenance out of it. Yeah, you get less marquee storylines out of it, but you get the whole tournament, and it kind of shows the grit involved in some of the workers. In my estimation, look at the days where it was like Austin, you know, or when Bret Hart won it or Owen Hart won it. Look at those years, right? Because if you look at the King of the Ring tournament from then to the King of the Ring tournament now, there's no there's no good reason behind it anymore. I liked when the pay-per-views made sense and made points. The King of the Ring winner getting a future title shot. The King of the Ring winner should get the title shot at SummerSlam still. I think that would be cool. Survivor Series, you have a big feud blow off, or you have several big blow offs, or you have faction blow offs, things of that side. I like that idea as well. There's a boatload of story that can be done with that still. You've got the bloodline story, but who's against the bloodline? Are you just going to stack guys on one side versus the bloodline? No, because the team dynamic of the bloodline, the family dynamic, is going to make them be better than the other side, right? So look at Imperium. You could have Imperium versus the Brawling Brutes. Well, that's only 3-on-3. You need more people. You're going to add to that to make it viable. Judgment Day. You got Balor, uh, Priest, Dom, and Rhea. Now you have Ray, you have Edge, you have Beth Phoenix, and then you need one more. You could always add one more to that and make it viable, make it mean something, give it a point, give it another layer and level of attraction to it. Realistically, I feel that's a good return point for Randy Orton. I feel like they just say, "Oh, yeah, we got 3 of us against the 4 of you," and da 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 da. Here we go, and then all of a sudden, the Viper music hits, and we're off to the races. You get another WWE legend along with the first 3. Rey Mysterio is a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. Randy Orton is certain to be a future first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. They damn near could make him a class of his own, and it's not going to hurt many feelings. It's really not. Then you can add in people. Then you bring in Edge and Beth Phoenix, who are already Hall of Famers. I like the way that shapes out. You got all these legends versus all these current stars. Priest is a beast. Don't believe me? Look at that Sounds South of Heaven or Sounds of Heaven or whatever the hell that chokeslam is he does. It's a badass chokeslam. I like the way it's executed. Look at Rhea. She is an impressive woman. She is a fantastic worker. And she is dominating. Look at Dominic. She's definitely dominating him, right? Dominic is the young upstart who's got a great family legacy, but on his own he's not proven himself on many levels of this. Good worker, yeah. But is he making waves? No, he's not. Is he getting over with the crowd? No, he's not. He's not getting over at all. Just being real here. And that's kind of what my whole point is. You're going to have to use some of these legends to put these guys over. Another current rumor floating around is that you're going to end up with Brock Lesnar going up against Daniel Cormier, which should have happened in the UFC. Now, for all intents and purposes and all reasons known, didn't occur. Could it still happen? Nah, I don't think so. I think DC is too far gone out of the game. He's too far removed. He's not training or anything like he was. There's no point in it. Now, with him being involved in WWE's PLE last night, Extreme Rules, I believe we're going to see him in a closed-off segment of the Performance Center before you know it. And with that being said, you're going to end up with him handling things differently. He's still going to bring that MMA vibe. You got to figure he's going to be backed by Riddle. There's another layer to the story. You could end up with Riddle versus Lesnar at some point. Think beyond what you see in front of you and think about the possibilities of the moving pieces as the road is paved ahead. Okay? That's the best way I can think to describe it. It was a badass matchup for Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins. As Matt Riddle defeated him, he made him tap. I am one of those people where I was working last night. I didn't get a chance to see this as it occurred. So I ignored as much. Well, it was easy to ignore social media and everything else where I was. Absolutely no signal in that mountain. Like, that mountain town is deader than a doornail, especially in the metal building we were in. Anyway, with all that being said, I didn't have to worry about all social media and stuff because by the time I got home, I was too knocked out to do anything. I pretty much went straight to bed. I got up this morning, made my coffee, and sat back and watched most of the show. Had some errands to run, come back and finished it this morning, or finished it this afternoon just a little bit ago while I was making dinner for my family. I got to finish the show then, and now I'm sitting here talking with you all about it. To open up the show, they had the Brawling Brutes defeating Imperium in a good old fashioned Donnybrook match, as they called it. Here's the thing, that was a street fight with Irish weapons, essentially. Beer kegs or casks, whatever you want to call them. You had a bar, you had shillelaghs. They went European on us in this matchup, but it was awesome. Imperium did the team dissecting and did it to a T. Their teamwork is unfreaking real. I love the way that team works together. They work together better than the Brawling Brutes. That's no joke. However, when you put Sheamus, Butch, and Ridge Holland together, you're going to end up with a fantastic set of events here. Ronda Rousey defeating Liv Morgan in an Extreme Rules match to win the SmackDown Women's title. I don't agree with this decision to put the belt on Ronda. I understand it because you're going to have Ronda more than likely drop it to Charlotte. Charlotte going to Mondays is very unlikely. Right now, I like where Monday Night Raw is with the women's title picture, and I'll get to that when I get to their match. However, SmackDown seems to be lacking that credibility talent. I love Liv Morgan. Putting Liv Morgan up against a Charlotte Flair and having her beat a Charlotte is going to do more for Liv than having her beat Ronda. Think about what I said and realize that I'm right. Well, in my opinion, I'm right. Okay? You have to understand that my perception of this is a bit tweaked. My perception doesn't just come from sitting in the audience for the last 37 years. My perception also comes from being in the back of this for the last 3 years. I've been behind the curtain since 19. And I've worked many a show here in the region. I learn a lot, I'm told a lot, I'm trusted with a lot of things. With that information that I have, it gives me a different sight into what's put in front of me. Most of you just see the picture as it's presented to you. Whereas a lot of people who are involved in professional wrestling see all the angles of it, if that makes any sense. So, in my opinion, I feel like Liv Morgan getting a win over Ronda Rousey, she's already got 2 of those. Having a third one, what's it mean? Having her lose the way she lost kept her looking strong. She didn't tap out. She didn't give up. She got knocked out. She got passed out. That keeps her looking stronger. Think about Austin and Hart years and years ago, right? Austin looked like a freaking saint walking out of that when he was covered in blood. He didn't give up. He was just declared done by the ref. Made him look like the martyr of professional wrestling. Very similar look as to what we're going to see coming out of this with Liv Morgan if they keep going in the same direction. But like I said, her beating Ronda doesn't do anything for any of them. Liv beating a Charlotte. Now we're on. I would actually prefer in time to see Liv and Sasha. I think that would be a good pairing. The speed, the style, the size. I think it's more fun of a match that way. Realistically, Naomi challenging Bianca would be fun. Uh, Charlotte obviously challenging Bianca is like, if they're gonna merge the titles, that's your matchup. That's the way to go. There isn't anything better than that. If they were gonna merge the women's titles, that's the only way to make it make sense to me. You don't have anybody bigger or better than those two on the roster right now. I am not the biggest on Bianca's promos, but Bianca's promos are better on this title run than they were on the previous by a long shot. She has a lot more, I'm not going to say freedom because this title run still started under Vince. She has a lot more growth and development with it. So therefore she's able to project what she wants to better and further than just I'm a low income kid or whatever and developed into this star. The same story got tired, and they were doing it with multiple people as well. They did the same thing with Liv, talking about how single mother and all this other shit, and then they tried it with Lacey Evans and her current shtick. Well, her last current shtick, where she was going on there saying, "Oh hey," basically disowned or whatever she said, and tough love from her parents and all this shit. All right, guys, I get it's rinse and repeat, but give me a break. It's a little much on the rinse and repeat. All right, you're not going to have a scalp left if you keep rinsing and repeating all that. So, either way, Ronda defeating Liv. I thought the match was fun. I thought the usage of weapons was pretty decent. I would have liked to seen a little bit more, but I'm still happy with the way the match carried out. Ending is the ending. It is what it is. I almost would have rather seen some interference or something, but interference in that match wouldn't have made much more sense to begin with. So there's that to keep in mind as well. Karrion Kross defeated Drew McIntyre in a strap match. So this match up here could have been a bit better. I like the way that they handled pretty much everything. I think the ending for it kind of snubbed me a little bit. It felt like Karrion doesn't need Scarlett to win. Why did he have to use her to win? If Karrion Kross is this big badass sumbitch, why is he just doing this every time? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't even sit all that well with me. But that's just me. Um, Overall, I thought the match looked good. They did a lot of exciting things when it came to the usage of the strap, pulling him into the corner post, uh, the actual absolute lashings each of them took with it. I think it was just a fun show on a fun matchup on that show. Bianca Belair defeating Bayley in a ladder match to retain the Raw Women's title. Listen, those two went balls to the wall. They went badass crazy, and it was awesome. Bianca Belair's first time in a ladder match, you could tell there was a couple glitches in the matrix, but overall, fun match, good time, and they got plenty done. If anything, this did make Bianca look like an even more credible champion. Bayley's no slouch. Bayley's done the ladder match thing. There's a lot to it here. Um, like I said, her current run, Bianca's run, she's a shoe-in for female of the year, in my opinion, for 2022. It's a shoe-in. Bianca Belair wins that award all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. I want anybody to challenge me and tell me a better female competitor of the year for the year 2022 on, this level of professional wrestling. I don't think there is one. Finn Balor, as I said earlier, defeated Edge in an I Quit match. This match was awesome. They went everywhere. They went all over the ring, all over the arena. Everything made sense. I really thought that Edge was going to just go for the concerto. I think that's what would have made it more fun for me for Edge to win this match by doing concertos until Balor gave up. Just keep racking them until it's done, until he's done, and then there's no more. I think that would have been fun. But the way this goes, like I said, there's more to the story. This is going to keep going, and we're going to get more out of this. Now, in the end, do you have the heroes triumph over evil, or do you have the villains get their heyday and the legends walk away licking their wounds and live to fight another day? Which is the direction that this is going to go in the end? I have no idea. I just know we're not done with it yet, but it's the only thing keeping the Judgment Day going. Matter of fact, don't need Randy Orton. AJ Styles could be the third man. Edge, AJ, Ray, and Beth Phoenix versus Finn, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Dominic at Survivor Series. Classic 4-on-4. You could even make it a little hardcore. You could make it a little extra. You could do a couple things with it. But as it sits, it already treads really good water. So if it ain't going to sink, let it swim. Let it do its thing. Man, but there was so much to that I Quit match. It was badass. I really enjoyed that. Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins. I thought for sure Rollins was going to do like some sort of power bomb from that upper level to Riddle, and I was like, "Oh dear God, oh dear Lord, this is not going to be good. This is going to be terrible. It's going to be really bad. It might even be Terra bad." Uh, I wasn't sure how they were going to finish this off, but the choke out worked. Was a triangle choke or something that worked really well. Rollins has defeated Riddle already. This is kind of giving it the extra leg up. Is this story done? I think this story's now done, and they're going to start moving on to something else. You could even have Rollins and Randy run it back. I mean, that would work out. There's almost no need for Riddle and Rollins again. But, you know, the great thing that they're doing with Seth right now is they are having him work his tail off, proving to everybody that he is a safe worker, an effective worker, and a very good worker. He's by and large one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet today is Seth Rollins. And I hated this guy 2-3 years ago. Couldn't stand him. Thought he was worthless. Finally, folks, from last night, the biggest news of them all. Bray Wyatt has returned. The way they did it, you had Riddle and DC all the way back, damn near at the gate to walk back through into gorilla position, which walk back through the LED curtain board and go back to the backstage area. And the lights die throughout the arena. Now, I'm sitting there looking at the lights, trying to see if the lights were spelling out something, because I thought that would have been badass if they could have orchestrated that. Everybody on these seats only, hold up your cell phone. If you're not in this seat, do not use your cell phone light. They could have done that and made it spell something out throughout. That would have been awesome. That would have been freaking great. And nobody, I don't know if there's a way that they could coordinate that with the crowd, but be like, you'll know when. So when it's time, use your flashlight. When the building goes dark, use your flashlight. When this goes dark, do not use your flashlight. But you only got to do it in a certain section of the arena just to spell something out, top and bottom. I think it'd be badass. And if everybody would go for it, shit, you'd have it made. It's almost I'm not going to say it's almost a gimme, but it's almost something that could be done pretty easily. I think it would be fun. But that show last night capped off the hellishest end of a week when it came to um, the WWE for the week. Now, Impact Wrestling recently had Bound for Glory. They had that Friday night, actually. So, as far as that goes, you had Brian Myers defeating Dirty Dongo, which is Fandango came back and he won up against Brian Myers for the Impact Digital Media title. I'm not sure what this is about, but okay. Let's see here. Raven was apparently there. Raven was inducted into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. That's awesome, actually. Raven really deserves a lot more credit than he's given. That dude is Scott Levy is a very brilliant man. Um, did he have his problems with, with the lifestyle? Yeah, of course he did. But guess what? It doesn't mean he wasn't a smart son bitch. Don't take credit away from somebody just because they did something you didn't like or didn't approve of. There'd be a whole lot less good in this world if you did. Frankie Kazarian defeated X Division champion Speedball Mike Bailey to become the new X Division champion. Mickey James defeated Mia Yim. Death Dolls, which is Taya Valkyrie and Jessica, defeated the Knockouts World Tag Team Champions. VXT, which is Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green. I wonder if VXT is supposed to be some slight at NXT. Anybody know anything about VXT? I'm not sure. The Impact World Tag Team Champions, The Kingdom, which is Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, defeated the Motor City Machine Guns to retain. Let's see here. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Bully Ray wins the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match. Now, there's a lot to that. I am really happy that Bully Ray is back in Impact. I feel like Bully can do a lot of good things for that company. Here's why. I like Josh Alexander, but the guy doesn't have much of a personality. Some of his promos have been pretty good, but for the most part, he has the personality of a school bus fire. It's it's got some heat to it. It's got a little bit of sound, but eh, it just doesn't do anything. It's He's got believability, right? Size and everything. When he's on the mic, it just doesn't come out like that. The best promo he has ever cut was the one where he was talking about, doing it for his family and doing it for his kid and this and this. But beyond that, we haven't gotten anything out of him that good. So I just don't feel he's that good on the mic. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Bully Ray, however, is one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time, in my opinion. The Dudley Boys are the greatest tag team in the history of professional wrestling. That's me. But it was still it was still awesome. You had Jordan Grace defeat Masha Slamovich. They they already gave this woman a title shot, apparently. Okay. I knew she was over, but damn, I didn't know she was doing all that. Josh Alexander defeated Eddie Edwards to retain the Impact World title. Uh, Josh Alexander was being assaulted by Honor No More after the match. Bully Ray come out, made the save, then left him with the warning that he's coming for that title. So another knockout show for Impact, pun intended. Aha. So, man, look, Impact's doing good shit. If you're sleeping on it, sorry about your luck. I also find it neat that they're doing pay per views on Friday nights instead of anything else. I think that's really cool. Um, I still don't know if a $40 price tag for that pay per view is up there, but let's see here. I was trying to find some more write ups about that Impact show. However, I didn't get it. I know they're going to be involved at WrestleCade weekend in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That's November 25th. But either way, uh, Impact's been killing it lately. And if you guys are sleeping on it, that's your mistake because, yeah, no, that's not something you want to do. Because, see, earlier this week, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown as well. And then we'll end the show with Dynamite because that seems to be the one that, you know, nobody pays that much attention to when I talk about it. Let's see here. They are already previewing Monday Night Raw, and it is Sunday. They've got DX does their 25th anniversary reunion special, or celebration rather. Got Roman Reigns and the Bloodline invade the Raw season premiere. Bobby Lashley defends his U.S. title against Seth Rollins. After the Fight Pit match, you're going to put Rollins up against Lashley. Rollins lost last night. Why didn't Riddle challenge him for that? Or is that the long term plan? MMA guy versus MMA guy? That might be more fun. Johnny Gargano gets his way as he faces off against Austin Theory. So that's going to be a fun match there. Let's see here. Trying to get to some of these other notes I've got written down. Either way, it was a badass show. So to open up Monday Night Raw this past week, you had Finn Balor and Damian Priest beat AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio. So see, now they've beaten all the legends kind of together. Balor, Priest, Styles, Mysterio. I think that's where we're going to go is Styles, Mysterio, Edge, Beth versus Judgment Day. I think that makes the most sense logically. Bobby Lashley defeated Mustafa Ali. That was a badass matchup. I don't understand why they aren't doing more with Mustafa Ali, but at the same time, there are occasions in a lot of these companies where you go, well, where are you going to put them? You got them on the roster, but what are you going to do with them? They're great, but you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. So you got to do more. He needs a good feud. That's what he needs. But what's going to be a good feud for him? You got all these other cats tied up. Hmm. I'm sitting here trying to think about it. I think that maybe a rivalry between Mustafa Ali and Austin Theory would be fun. I think that'd be a good time. I think that's the direction it should go, but yeah, it's kind of me. Oh man. They of course set up the final points of the match where special guest referee Daniel Cormier said how it's going to go for the fight pit. You had Dakota Kai defeating Candice LeRae. I am really surprised they had her take a loss that quickly. Dakota Kai's a tag team champion. It's not going to hurt anything if she takes a singles loss. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where you got to make sure you're not overplaying one without underplaying the other. It's very crucial to try to make sure you don't have those errors in this. Either way, I thought it was badass. It was a great match for them. Dexter Loomis continues to torment Miz. I thought it was hilarious the way they did it at the pay per view on Saturday night. Oh, premium live event. Sorry, Saturday night, where they had that one dude from the Flyers, their mascot or whatever, keep showing up, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's Dexter. That's Dexter Loomis." And I'm like, I don't think that's Dexter. I think it's gonna be funny, but I don't think that's Dexter. And sure enough, later in the night, you saw the guy get attacked, and I said, "Here he comes! Here comes Dexter from behind." And of course, here it is. So that worked out well. I like the direction of the storyline. Dexter hasn't even had to fight in the ring to make it, you know, a big point yet. This hang has legs. Where's Tommaso Ciampa? Where is he at? I am so confused. Where's my guy? Otis defeating Johnny Gargano. Okay, it makes sense. It really does. This is another one of those situations that I think they're going to build upon and head to with Survivor Series. I don't think you're going to get many blow offs at Crown Jewel. I think the biggest thing you're going to get out of Crown Jewel is the Logan Paul Roman Reigns match, and everything else is just going to be kind of a match to have a match for entertainment purposes. I think that's kind of what we're getting at Crown Jewel. Um, Braun Strowman defeated Chad Gable. Ray Charles could have seen that coming, and he's dead and blind. So, right on. Still, it was a fun match. Strowman looks great. I think his timing's still a little off. He went, he was working indies and doing the control your narrative thing, and there's a lot of different pacing and cadence on the independent circuit than there is in the televised circuit. You're also working a hard cam versus working a hand cam. There's there's certain things that are there. I had this conversation with a couple of people over this weekend and even the last couple of weekends. We were talking about going to live shows, and I'm like, look, I said, it's cool if you want to sit right there front row and be seen on camera all night. That's great. Wonderful. I could give two shits less about being on TV. That's not what drives me. What I think is fun is sitting on the side that the hard camera's, taking the image from, because the ring is being worked towards that camera. All the action is being worked towards you. So you get the most of the best spots, you get most of the best angles. In my opinion, it's the side to be on if you want to enjoy the show. Damage Control ambushed Asuka and Alexa Bliss backstage and injured the both of them. At least that's what they told us last night. Solo Sikoa defeated Angelo Dawkins. I did not expect that because I figured, they'd have a schmoz ending, count out or something silly, disqualification. I was not expecting to see Solo Sikoa actually just beat Angelo Dawkins. Um, it was a badass matchup. Um, there may be a little bit more to the storyline when it comes to Jay and Sammy. I think that that's eventually going to be the breaking point for the bloodline is when that occurs. They'll lose their titles first, and then it'll domino effect throughout, if that makes sense. Uh, but either way, I think that's going to be a fun story to see how it unfolds. Io Sky defeated Alexa Bliss. Um, it is what it is. Io's awesome. She's fun to watch. One of those occasions where you just want to make sure everything's safe in the ring. Picking up what I'm putting down. I don't want to see anything happen to Bliss and her get hurt again and then not be on my TV. She's very entertaining. I love to watch her every week. But in the end, Damage Control took over the show, beat everybody, and ended up having Bailey atop the ladder at the end of the show, holding the belt and kind of signifying that she was going to take it to Extreme Rules, which now we know she didn't. Friday night SmackDown. I think that's how I'm going to start doing this. I'm just going to talk about what I want to talk about and stick with the current topic of hand, then switch to the other company and talk about them. Now, I did jump back and forth from WWE to Impact, but that was because they both had big shows this weekend. If the other company, AEW, had a big show this weekend, or the NWA had a big show this weekend, I would have done the same thing. Because you want to put your most pertinent information first, guys. You want to try to do that. Podcasting 101. Classes in session. See here. I can't believe that they had Gunther use a weapon to beat Sheamus. Gunther is a weapon. Realistically, unless they are going to blow this off between them two at Survivor Series, I don't see how they would do it for the Intercontinental title, just having a title match randomly in the show. It's like it wouldn't fit. It feels like this should be. I like the 3-on-3 that they had already. I don't think they need to redo it. I just don't see how we get there. I don't see how we, in the middle of October, get to the end of November. We're not quite in the middle of October, and that's. So we're talking almost 2 months away of time for them to build it. But you got to do it and then make it make sense. It's got to be worth, getting your crowd into and worth getting your people involved in. And there's got to be plenty of good that comes out of it in order for that to be achieved properly. Is it too late to give Sheamus that belt? I don't believe so. I think they've got plenty of times and they've been doing plenty of good stuff here. Um, the biggest takeaway from this was how much outside interference was in it. I don't I don't know why they let it go this far. It's almost too far, even for the refs and even for the WWE. It just feels like it's way too far. Triple H opened up that episode of SmackDown and he had the QR code on the microphone. So that was kind of a fun little little jab there, a good way to punch it in. We hadn't seen Triple H since he retired from in-ring competition. Then he took over the leading of the charge roles here in WWE. He pretty much runs all the wrestling part of it, and that's what needed to happen. The Bloodline came out, and they were doing their thing. All of them in the ring. Logan Paul comes out. Oh, what was weird was you had uh, Logan Paul actually instigate an issue between Roman and Jay. That's weird to me. I feel like, how's this outsider who ain't been around that much, and doesn't know all that much, gonna jump in and have something to say that could actually be viable? It's not that he pays that much attention. It's not that he's that smart. Well, what is it? How does it work? How does it make sense? Make it make sense. Either way, we get Solo Sikoa versus Ricochet. Badass matchup. Another fantastic talent. I really do think they should go back to putting Ricochet and Ali together in a tag team. I think that would be a fun team to watch. Um, are they going to win gold and be the most successful and super dominant team? No, of course not. But I think you're giving them something to do better than eating solo losses constantly. I think they were. I think they were real. They could be a real fun tag team to watch. Hit Row comes out. They're apparently getting ready to do something, but we don't know what. They get attacked by Legado del Fantasma, and Zelina Vega is back, and she's a blonde now. Pretty interesting. They say blondes have more fun, but I don't know. So it is cool that it's them. I'm glad that they're here. I can't wait to see what they're going to pull off on the main roster. I'm looking forward to what the future holds for all competitors involved. What's weird is Legado del Fantasma with Zelina Vega is 4. Hit Row is 3. Uneven? Yes. Could they add another person to Hit Row? They could. Damn sure won't be Shane Strickland or Swerve, whatever you want to call him. Won't be him. He's busy. He's in the dubs with Keith Lee, and they were swerving our glory. They're probably no longer even going to be teaming together now that that's over with. And yeah, by the way, yeah, I am laying back. It's just more fun for me to lay back and bullshit with you guys like this than it is for me to sit up and act like an adult and all that. Nah, I actually could work from this chair because this is my computer chair. Um, as a matter of fact, I have worked from this chair. Look at the video you're watching now. Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi defeat Sonya Deville and Xia Li. All right, so we switched Aaliyah for Shotzi. I like Shotzi. I like Rodriguez. Sonya's all right, and Xia Li's awesome. I just don't see the why yet. I guess we're going to get to that. I guess they're going to be doing more with it. And I suppose they're going to be adding more things to this. But if you're going to continue with these female tag teams, you got to give us something that makes sense and has legs. It's got to be able to go. It's got to be able to travel. It's got to be able to make it, man. Karrion Cross got the best of Drew McIntyre in a strap brawl before they were heading to Extreme Rules. Braun Strowman and the New Day defeated the Usos and Sami Zayn. Yeah, we all knew that was going to happen. And we already discussed that Gunther defeated Sheamus in an Intercontinental title matchup. Underhandedly, might I add. Did he do that? But it was not a bad show at all. Let's see here. Gonna pull up the AEW notes I have written down. Now, I did not get to watch Rampage before today, so ran out of time. I'm when I go to talk about that one, I'm just gonna do a recap, no real opinion on anything because eh. On the third anniversary edition of AEW Dynamite, it was done from the Entertainment and Sports Arena in Washington, D.C. I don't even know where that is. I don't even know where that. I'm from DC, and I have no idea where that building is. I don't know what that is. Um, I don't know what it used to be. I know it's not the Cap Center, which is where Raw normally emanates from, or the Capitals play. It used to be called the Verizon Center. It used to be called MCI Arena. It used to be. It's had 50 million names over the past 30 years. It's been owned by damn near everybody. Let's see here, but MJF defeated Wheeler Yuta. They one of the notes there say that 129 days since MJF had wrestled on Dynamite. Let's see here. Wheeler Yuta had to tap out. After the match, Wheeler Yuta attempted to shake MJF's hand. Lee Moriarty jumped in the ring and hit Yuta. MJF then yelled at Lee, "I didn't tell you to do that." MJF was then handed the Dynamite Diamond ring. Regal put on a pair of brass knucks and walked out of the ring. Regal and MJF alone. Were they really going to have this happen? Like, I can see Regal taking a bump, but brass knucks versus the diamond ring. You're getting into some weird legends kick here. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Ended up with Lethal versus Darby Allin. Looks here that Darby defeated Jay Lethal. Like I said, I put notes throughout the week down, and I kind of go over them live on air. I think that's how most people do it. Um, if you do the live reaction and reviews thing, you have to be intelligent enough to keep up with the entire show and have cognitive points throughout, as well as answer the conversation as it comes in, interacting with a live audience. So, me, I find it better to do this, have my notes, and then have my audience here. And we kind of go over what I wrote down versus what you thought. To me, it seems to be more fun and beneficial this way. Um, but so, Darby and Lethal ended up shaking hands after the match. TNT Championship Open Challenge. Seems to be we've heard about these mid-card open challenges before. It's nothing new. It happens in all these shows. So, but you had Wardlow versus Brian Cage. Where the hell's Brian Cage been? Why is he just now coming back to TV? Why is he just jumping right into a title shot? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Please, for the love of God, make your storylines make sense. So, this one had all the legs in the world to be a good 15, 20-minute brawl. Either way, Brian Cage was pinned after the fourth power bomb. Awesome. Good match. Great show of strength by both. I am hoping that uh, they're going to continue this. There may even be more to the story with Brian Cage coming in. I like how they're adding more people with this because they're making it about one group of individuals who seems to attack certain other ones, kind of like they did with the NWO. So now you got allies or other people joining forces as allies to take on a group or a conglomerate. That works a little bit better. I just don't know if I like how long it took us to get here. I think that's kind of what bothered me with it. A trios match. No, I'm not talking about Paige. Relax. Relax. I'm not talking about Paige in trios. That's not okay. We don't do that here. Um you had Tony Storm, Athena, and Willow Nightingale with Paige versus Jamie Hayter, Penelope Ford, and Serena Deeb. So Jamie Hayter should already be in title contention, if not champion. I think she should have been it over Tony, but that's my opinion. Athena's pretty good, so I got no beef with her. Willow Nightingale, she's all right. I'm just not the biggest fan. She's talented, but her moves don't look that crisp. Like her impact seems off to me. So I don't know if it's timing. I don't know if it's I don't know what it is. There's just something about the delivery for Willow I'm not into. So there's that. But Baker and Soraya end up going at it after the matchup. Willow ended up pinning Penelope Ford to win the matchup. It's it's just one of those things where you got to realize what's going to be best to get this further. Is a 3-on-3 really going to be with extras outside the ring getting involved with each other? Is that really going to be what furthers the story for your title? Your focus should always be your champion, right? Your champion wasn't involved in the finish. You were outshined by Soraya or Soraya, however some of you people want to pronounce her name, Soraya, and Baker outshined your champion and the match. That's the bigger story. The point I'm trying to make is this. You don't need to have them all on screen at the same time to make those points all valid individually. Your champion is supposed to be your focus, right? If your champion's supposed to be your focus, why aren't you building the blocks around the champion to make it viable for the future around your champion and surrounding the title? The title's supposed to be the most important thing. It was National Scissoring Day celebration with AEW World Tag Team Champions, The Acclaimed, as well as Billy Gunn. Smart Mark Sterling interrupted him. You beat them. He tried to join the Acclaimed or have them join him. Billy is going to go up against Swerve Strickland next week in Toronto. That's going to be fun. I don't understand why they're doing that. don't understand what the point is. They're blaming it on Billy. They're blaming everything. I just when you've got badasses on teams, blaming somebody else seems like the cheap cop out, right? It's kind of where I'm at with it. Hangman Adam Page versus Roosh. Let's see here. So it ended up being Hangman pinning Roosh after several other people interfered in it. Private Party comes out to confront Page. Moxley comes out. Private Party bails out. What's fun here is they're now going to build towards Mox and Hangman. I'm hoping that match is actually decent. I'm not the biggest Hangman Adam Page fan. Not sure. I don't have anything against him. I just don't have anything for him either, if that makes sense. And then Mox is undoubtedly good. Nobody would claim otherwise. I just I feel like having Mox as champion again right now just doesn't feel right. He's been the workhorse of AEW. And yeah, they offered him a new 5-year deal and or 5-year extension and coaching and mentoring and all this other shit. And that's great. Good for him. I hope he likes it. I just really want them to do something with sustenance for more people on the roster. Like just being there and getting paid, great, wonderful. But when you're so stacked with talent, what are you achieving? That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. It's you gotta have enough to make the whole thing mean more. To me, that's where the rubber meets the road. Okay, the rubber meets the road at that point. Luchasaurus versus Fuego del Sol. Why? Just so Jungle Boy can run out? Ah, that was the whole damn match. A chokeslam, cutthroat, pin. Chokeslam, cutthroat, pin. That's your whole match right there. Nothing else happened but that. That's it. Just a one thing. One thing and done. Why? Why is that the only thing? Why couldn't you do more than that? I I don't this is what I've said it before. I don't understand the quick turnarounds on these matches. You're burning a talented individual in Fuego del Sol. Ha ha, Fuego and burning. Ha 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 ha. That was punny for those of you who understand English. That was hilarious. So you have this this match going on. Only to further the other thing, but you're wasting a talent like Fuego del Sol. For why? Are you going to team him up with Jungle Boy and have him go up against Christian and Luchasaurus? Tell me that makes any sense. Nah, I'm not feeling it, dog. Sorry. It just doesn't hit. There's certain things that don't hit for me. So, Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Let's preface all of this with how is Sammy Guevara still on television tonight when he was in a backstage fight with Andrade? Chris Jericho went to bat for him, so he gets to still keep the main event. You run your mouth on social media. We're on social media now. I'm talking shit. You get in a fight at work. You still get to do the boss's, the big boss job at the end of the day? Hell no. If I run my mouth on social media and I get in a fight at work, I'm getting escorted out of the building and probably locked up. That's reality. These guys are playing some dangerous bullshit in the backstage politics. Somebody's going to end up killed. It's happened before. Don't pretend it hasn't. We all know about that stabbing shit. We know about the time somebody was shot in the back, yeah, and killed in the backstage. Oh yeah, this shit's happened. The way that backstage in that area seems to be, it seems to be like that could be the very next thing that happens. Somebody's going to die. If somebody dies back there, I really want to hear all these fucking experts online go, well, there was a concussion protocols and no, there wasn't. Apparently not. There apparently was not a damn thing. Safe space, my ass. I don't think so, Scooter. It is bullshit that you're allowing stuff to occur and letting certain people get away with it because of political pull in the back. I don't agree with that. Talent begets talent. Respect gets respect. You can't act like a jackass all the live long day and get away with everything. I don't understand this. You've got guys like Anthony Henry. You've got guys like James D. Drake, JD Drake, the blue collar badass himself. You've got guys like that on your roster. And instead of utilizing them because it doesn't further your storyline or agenda, you're going to use Sammy Guevara, who's backstage causing problems. And it's not his first time. He had sensitivity training over the comments he made about Sasha Banks, and he was suspended. He had training and suspension over the fight he got in with Eddie Kingston. He had absolutely fuck all done to him this time. I guess Daddy Jericho's taking care of him. It's no longer Daddy Matt Menard or whatever they call that goofy bastard. Or the other goofy prick that they run with. Daddy Magic or Magic Daddy Matt Menard. Yeah, that just sounds like a pedophile all over to me. I don't like that at all. The Matt Menard thing just is a fucking turnoff. I didn't like them in NXT. I don't like them now. I probably will not ever like them. And so many people are like, yeah, but that's because they're a ripoff of the Young Bucks. Well, I'm not a Young Bucks fan either, genius. Being a ripoff or a parody of something that already wasn't my cup of tea isn't going to help them. It's going to make it worse because it's a half-assed attempt at something that already wasn't in my wheelhouse. So many people have it confused, ladies and gentlemen. It's not funny or fair, but you know what? Shit happens. And of course, they ended up winning the matchup. Guevara and Jericho did. He even got the pin in the main event. Don't care. I don't care. It didn't hit good. In my opinion, that's not what you do. If you had Guevara lose that match to the kid in there, not Brian Danielson, but the other cat. I already switched pages that I was reading from, so But let's see here. Oh, 1 second. I got a message I got to answer. Oh, my bad, folks. But either way, you had all this. This could have been done different. Even if you had Jericho making Brian submit or something like that, I'd have been fine with that. You could have had Daniel Garcia pin Sammy. Fine. You could have had Jericho take the loss. You could have had this go any way but the way you had it go. You had Guevara go over. Dumb. Stupid idea by a bad creative, my opinion. Do I know what happened backstage? No. But from all the reports we got, there was a fist fight and altercation. Both men should have been ejected and suspended. You did it with Punk. You did it to the EVPs. Why aren't you doing it to the punk ass kid, Sammy Guevara? Explain it. Somebody else has to explain this. If it's just because he's Jericho's boy, I really don't get it. I don't understand it. If Jericho's so great, y'all put the Ring of Honor title on him. You should have put the AEW title on him and the Ring of Honor title on Mox. That would have made more sense. You got to do shit that makes sense, guys. Let's see here. You had Claudio Castagnoli, AEW champ John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta versus Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, and Roosh. What an odd pairing all of those men are. You have the Blackpool Combat Club on one side of it. That makes a lot of sense. Cassidy and Quinn, yeah, okay. I can think of, but Roosh, how does Roosh fit into that? I just, it doesn't make any sense. You'd have made Quinn tap out with an R bar in the end. So there's that. You had the Varsity Blondes, Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. versus Josh Woods and Tony Nese. Dude, Josh Woods has got the look. Get the guy some acting lessons for the microphone and cut him loose because the guy needs to just get out there and work. He don't need to be doing this bunch of goofy team shit. He needs to work and develop because he's got the ability, he's got the look, he's got the size. He could be a believable contender. No bones about it. Woods versus Castagnoli alone would be, that's an over and over again match. Woods and Joe was awesome. Why, if you saw how good that, why wouldn't you keep going with it? Why continue to team him with some randos? I understand that Mark Sterling and his connection with Nese and his connection with this one. Don't care. When the guys deserve a spotlight and a shot, give them the spotlight and give them the shot. That's the big picture ideals here. That's what needs to occur. Madison Rain and Sky Blue versus Anna JAS and Tay Mello. Anna J is awesome. I am fine with seeing her perform more. Tay Mello still developing, but she's still pretty good. Anna J ended up submitting Sky with her Queen Slayer submission. Is that supposed to be like a knock at Charlotte or something? The Queen Slayer submission. I don't understand the name of that submission unless you're trying to knock because there's only Madison Rain was called the Queen Bee, but that wouldn't make much sense either because she didn't make Madison tap; she made Sky Blue tap. You see what I'm getting at, folks? You see where I'm trying to make it make sense because I want it to make more sense for me to understand it, so that way I can enjoy it more. The best storylines outside of the Bloodline and outside of the Judgment Day storyline's kind of weak. But outside of like the Bloodline and a handful of other stories that they got going on in WWE, you're finding your best stories being told on Impact. So you also get some of these weird people who are like, well, I don't have cable, but I watched AEW and Impact doesn't do anything for me. Well, you can't sit there and badmouth the shit if you don't watch it. I watch it every week with the kids, almost every week if I have time. I watch it. The kids and I sit out there and watch it, and they're like, "Oh, this is more rough. This seems a little bit more violent." Like, yeah, it's a little bit more rough, it's a little bit more tough, but it's a pretty good product. In my opinion, this is no different than the Monday Night Wars that we had back in the late 90s, early 2000s even. You had WWF, WWE, WCW, and ECW. And I thought that back then WCW was the weak link out of everything. The best thing they had going for them was the NWO. Eric Bischoff did a phenomenal job. I'm a huge Eric Bischoff fan. I still believe today that Eric didn't walk on water, but I believe that without him, WCW would have failed massively, drastically faster and further than ever. Um, they might have not become enough of a commodity for Vince to even purchase the shit. That's reality. They at least got paid something for their effort in library in the end. Um, so there's something to keep in mind. Impact is starting to get. I'm not still not going to say that they're back on that level that they were, where when they were doing their pay per view things and you had to buy each individual one or whatever. I'm still not saying Impact's at that level that they were at yet for popularity. However, storyline wise, pretty damn solid. It's the ECW of our current viewing generation. Um, so with that being said, people that are out there that are not giving Impact a chance, figure it out and give it a watch because you'll be more entertained with that than you were with the late stages of Ring of Honor. In my opinion, the late stages of Ring of Honor were pretty rough. I wasn't a big fan. I'm still not a. I don't give a rat's ass about Dalton and the boys or whatever. Didn't care. Don't care. Ring of Honor used to be something special too, in my opinion. Back in the day, Punk, Raven, Joe, Styles, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly. When them guys were there, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, dude, the glory days of Ring of Honor, as I call it, the Gabe Zapolsky era of Ring of Honor is where it was at. You get so many people confused and lost about where they're WWE guys. No, they were Ring of Honor guys too, but better in they were better highlighted and spotlighted in WWE under that banner than they were in Ring of Honor. But they still had great work in Ring of Honor. One of the greatest feuds in the last 20, 25 years is Raven and CM Punk from Ring of Honor. Epic work. Epic work. So to me, right now, WWE's got great storyline, and of course, they've got the best production known to man. They have all the money in the world invested in it. Impact Wrestling has got some of the best storylines, pretty good bell to bell action. AEW, AEW's WCW 0.5. They're trying really hard to do the same thing, but different. It's like they have a New World Order takeover style of run-ins and thrashing and extra bodies and intertwining everything, but it's not an NWO. It's weird. That's like I say, this is all my opinion. So if you don't like it, that's great. You can speak up about it. The comment section's over there. Yeah, see right that way. That's the comment section. Y'all can type in that, and I'll or you type in down here and I'll read it over there. One of the two. Kind of how it works. Uh, Either way, your AEW main event for Rampage was Death Triangle versus the Dark Order. You had. I'm looking through the notes here to catch up where I was after we just got done talking. Oh yeah, the the Bellhammer to Pac, and Pac knocked out Reynolds, and there we go. Battle of the Belts 4. Pac versus Trent Beretta. Pac again with the bell hammer. Hit Trent between the eyes, and he pinned him. Orange is coming after Pac in that title. I think that that's actually one of the best stories they have going is the build up between them two. Eventually, you're going to see Orange with that Atlantic championship. What are they calling it? I think the All Atlantic Championship. Is that what that one's called? Yeah, the All Atlantic Championship. That's cool. I'll stick with the Mid Atlantic right here where we are. Let's see here. Jade Cargill versus Willow Nightingale. Jade Cargill, of course, uh, just destroyed Willow. Why in the world is Nyla Rose going after Jade? They're both heels. It's like, make it make sense, please. And then I don't care for Nyla Rose in the ring, out of the ring, on the microphone, in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Not a fan. So if they're gonna have Jade whoop the shit out of her, that's fine. Go for it. I don't care about that. Let's see here. Ring of Honor World Tag Team match. FTR going up against the Gates of Agony. I don't even know who those dudes were. From Gates of Agony. Yet again, wrestling show I didn't watch. So just covering the recap as it was written out. Dax ended up pinning Khan using the backslide, and there we go. Why is Brian Cage going after FTR? It looks like we're going to get FTR, Samoa Joe, and Wardlow versus the Embassy with Brian Cage. I guess that just appears to be what we're doing. So that has been the catch up of everything you had for this last week, including what was going on this weekend. So, folks, thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to load this episode right here directly into the podcast platforms. You can download it. You can show your friends. You can share it to your friends. You can show it to your coworkers. I wouldn't play it in your office. You might get escorted to HR, and I'm not going to be responsible for you losing your job. So please don't play it in your office unless you have headphones and they can't hear it. Because a lot of the shit I say is just not good for human resources departments. I promise. It's bad when we have to explain things to human resources departments. Think about what I just said. That's very bad, right? Or you got to explain it to directors or whatever. Shit gets out of hand. Shit gets wild and crazy. We don't need none of that. Folks, anyway, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend, and I hope you have a great week. We will see you right here for the Thursday night Indie Spotlight Special Edition Promoters Roundtable. A couple of the promoters have already shared the flyer. Keep your eyes peeled to see who else is going to be there. Not only that, next weekend we will also have a whole new episode of the Wrestling Wire covering a whole lot more stuff. So, folks, thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next time.